Hey everyone, Steve Monette here with another video in my Bible Prophecy Bite series, where we look at Bible scripture, history, and current events that all point to the soon return of Jesus the Messiah. Okay, so first off, my quick apologies for not posting any videos during the last month. But I have been up to my eyeballs in a critical care class that I needed to take for work. Thankfully, that course ends in roughly mid-July, and I can't wait to get back to a somewhat normal lifestyle after that because I've had to put in a lot of hours for this class. But given what has happened over the past few days, I wanted to talk briefly about what is going on in Iran. Quite frankly, no one else seems to be talking about it or even making videos on this matter. Certainly, the mainstream media is talking about the Iranian election, but I haven't seen anyone talk about it from a biblical prophecy perspective. So, in case you don't know what I'm talking about, 4 days ago, over the weekend, which was June roughly the 18th, 2021, Iran or Persia elected a new president. And this new president goes by the name Ibrahim Raisi. Surprise, surprise, he is a hardliner, ultra-conservative Muslim cleric that likes to rule with an iron fist and has a history of doing so. And make no mistake, Ibrahim Raisi is one bad dude. And as Bible prophecy students, we should know more about him. And as you'll see in a minute, you'll understand why. First off, he is a ultra-conservative hardliner. He is a believer in Sharia law, and of course you know that is based on the Quran. And if you look closely in all of the media outlets and you look at his picture, you will always see that Raisi wears a black turban. Now this is significant. This means two things. First, that he is, number one, a Shia, and second, that he is a direct descendant of Muhammad the Prophet. Black turbans mean the direct descendant of Muhammad the Prophet. That alone should tell you enough about this guy, but it does get worse. Second, he does have a nickname, and that is the Butcher of Tehran. And he got that name when he was part of a 4-man judiciary panel that authorized the executions of some 30,000 political prisoners in Iran during the late 1980s. Think about that number, 30,000. After that, he was appointed to the Attorney General's position in 2014. In 2009, he was elected to the Assembly of Experts, who are the ones who cast votes for the Supreme Leader of Iran. Then, in 2016, after gaining the attention and the affection of the Supreme Leader of Iran, Raisi was appointed to manage the financial affairs of Iran's largest religious institution. Now, that position does not come unless you have very, very significant connections. And quite frankly, it comes from the Supreme Leader himself. Okay. And speaking of the Supreme Leader, the cleric that currently occupies that position is Ayatollah Khamenei. And he is getting up there in age and is in the process of establishing his legacy and possibly his predecessor. I'm sorry, not predecessor, his successor. Sorry about that. And guess who is rumored to be Khamenei's successor? None other than this hardline descendant from Muhammad the Prophet, the Butcher of Tehran, Ibrahim Raisi. And you can confirm that through pretty much any news media outlet. But with this new election, he is replacing the well-known cleric who is known as President Rouhani, who is considered to be a moderate by his past practices. So in essence, Iran just took a hard right turn with this election, going from a moderate to an ultra-conservative. But in all honesty, that's really no surprise. It really isn't. Here's some more information for you. Raisi is 100% committed to continuing Iran's nuclear missile program, and he refuses to negotiate on that very matter with any country. And he said this during his first news conference, which was just 2 days ago. And this is like one of the best parts. And we know through, again, various news media outlets that Turkey, Syria, and Russia, and Iraq all stand behind this butcher of Tehran, as evident by this news article in the Times of Israel. And we also know that Iraqi's President Barham Salih extended his sincere congratulations and blessings on Raisi's election as president of Iran. So there you have it. All four members of the Gog-Magog alliance, who also incidentally border the river Euphrates, all calling to congratulate the butcher of Tehran on his de facto election to president of Iran. And make no mistake, Raisi is likely to succeed the supreme leader of Iran in the very near future. So let me summarize for you. The stage is set and the actors are all in place for Gog and Magog to begin. Russia, Turkey, and Iran have all set up substantial military assets within 100 miles of the northern Israeli border. The hook in the jaw seems to be identified as either Temple Mount or the massive gas reserves off the coast of Israel. All three countries have made it clear through public statements that Israel is a country to be defeated. The political system here in the USA has essentially rendered us castrated and in no position to help Israel should she be attacked by any of those four countries. And when you read the Bible, everything is unfolding exactly as foretold in Ezekiel 36, 37, 38, and 39. So let me finish up with this. In all likelihood, Ibrahim Raisi is the guy that will probably authorize this strike on Israel when the time comes for Gog and Magog to attack. Whether he makes that call as president or as supreme leader, that remains to be seen. It's really only an issue of timing. But he is the guy. Just watch. And how do I know this? Real simple. He is blinded by hate. He is willing to authorize people to death. He thinks he is working for Allah and Muhammad. And he has a long history of death. That's the bottom line, of death. And he doesn't care. It doesn't bother him. This makes him the perfect man for the job to authorize the attack on Israel because he doesn't care. Death means nothing to him. So in the meantime, keep watching, keep looking up. For the days ahead will be very dark, and they are dark right now. What is evil will be called good, and what is good will be called evil. Lawlessness will be everywhere and is everywhere. Christians will have a target on their backs, even if we are quiet and still. Nations will still rise against nations, and death will be rampant due to pestilence, lawlessness, famine, and war. But remember this, our redemption does draw near. Thanks for watching.